Most major happening, if at all I have to recall about my experience with Swami, is Swami's assurance of protection. Somewhere in 1970, in one of the interviews, first had the darshan of Bhagavan in 1969, and 1974 I joined Swami's college. 69 to 74, these 5 or 6 years, if some of the older devotees recall, that was the period when Swami was giving maximum interviews. In fact, that was the period of interviews during Swami's avatarhood, where he covered lakhs and lakhs of devotees. So during that 5 or 6 years, Swami used to call me for interview many times, on all the days for which I was there, and many times, or most of the times, morning and evening. In one of the interviews, one day evening, he told me in Telugu, "Repu rara raksha istan." Come tomorrow, I will give Raksha. Raksha means protection. So next day morning we sat. Swami came out, picked up the people for interview. Those days 2 batches of interviews he used to call. He came towards me. He called the person on my right. He called the person on my left. He didn't call me. He went inside, finished the first interview. And all the old boys would be knowing. When Swami used to finish the interview after the first batch, Swami used to stand facing the main Gopuram gate. He used to stand there on the doormat, which is opposite the door, just in front of the door which Swami uses for entering the Simhasan. Swami used to stand there and used to guide people outside. So I was sitting against a neem tree, which was at that time it was all sand, and this neem tree is in the place where now Swami's bell is rung when Aarti is done. Around that place, towards the gent side, there used to be a huge neem tree. If you sit against that neem tree, you could see Swami exactly. The moment he comes out, you are just in Swami's line of vision. So Swami saw me, I caught Swami's eyes. Swami said, like this. So I went, sat as the last person for the second batch interview. Then Swami called all the second batch interview. That was the last batch. So I was the last person to enter. If you are the last person to enter interview room, you will be the first person whom Swami will encounter when he closes the door and turns around. So he looked at me. He said, "Evaru pilcharu? Who called you?" I said, "Swami, you called me." "Enduku vachavu? Why did you come?" See, actually, subsequently I heard, and from many devotees and even through Swami at the divine level knows everything. But at a human level, he will ensure that in some cases, depending upon one's karma, he makes it a point that we should ask Swami what we require in our life. So perhaps I required protection. So I told Swami, you only, in Telugu I told him, "Swami, you called me yesterday and told me that you will give me protection. That is why I have come." These are the words which I said. The moment I said this, Swami, this year, with his left hand, he caught hold of my right ear. He pulled me to him thrice. All the 3 times, my forehead touched Swami's forehead with a little bit of hair. 3 times he pulled me towards him. And while he was doing that, he tells me in Telugu, "Ippude kadra, jeevitantam rakshistanu. Not for now, Ra, I will give you Raksha for a lifetime." And brothers and sisters, from that day in 1970, 46 years, my life has been a continuous saga of Swami saving me. You take any aspect of your life, personal, professional, family-wise, financial, social, you name it, in every respect Swami saves you. And I'll try and narrate a few of those experiences with you. And at this juncture, I cannot but echo what Dr. Mistry Sahab always mentions. Many times we travel in the car from the city to Dharmakshetra. At least once in every trip he says, "Bhaskar, if not for Swami, I don't know what my life would have been. Swami's hand is visible at every major step in my life. Without Swami, I cannot think what my life would have been." In a way, what Mistry Sahab says, not only holds good for him, not only holds good for us, but it holds good for everybody. It holds good for everybody. So the point I am trying to say is, Swami's protection, he has made me ask that question, perhaps knowing that I require that protection for a lifetime due to my own karmas in the past. Does that mean that Swami has not protected us earlier? The answer is no. Swami has been protecting each and every one of right through our lives. Only it is due to Swami's grace that some of us are consciously aware of the fact that Swami has played a part in this aspect of your life.